Come here! Let's go, give me a flipper.
All right, welcome to the latest edition of Amateur Hour. It's been a while. Computer was broken, and we're on a shoestring budget here, so we're back. Computer's fixed. Don't use Geek Squad if you want your computer back in any sort of amount of time. Here's Troy.
I'm here, and I am looking at the computer. I have not seen it in months, but it's here, and I'm staring at it.
So what we're going to do here in this first segment is go through just the scores the first 5 weeks of SETX FFL 5, The Redemption, and then we'll talk about who's doing well, who's doing poorly, and we'll focus on some of the better teams. So, Troy, go ahead with Week 1 scores.
All right, so Week 1 took place on, was that September 29th? Good Lord.
I was so much younger then.
So, Week 1 started off with the 409 boys versus the squad. That was a forfeit win for the 409 boys.
Thrilling game.
Yeah, squad just did not have enough to play in that game, so the 409 boys get the win. Then we went to the next game was the Showstoppers versus the Clydesdales. And the Clydesdales are sort of a new team, but they're also, you know, some of the hitmen are there from previous teams. So they're going to struggle a little bit here. But Showstoppers got the win. The defending champion Showstoppers won 45-6. Next game was the Jack Boys and Exclusive. The Jack Boys making their return to SETX FFL. Got a win against Exclusive, who is sort of a new team, but also has some players from other teams. And Jack Boys won 52-15. The next game was the Spartans against Express, and this is not the old Spartans from before. This is a new Spartans team, a bunch of new guys playing in the league. And Express is a team that's been around. A bunch of different guys from other teams have made a team. And
and we'll talk about what the teams are made of at the end. But a lot of these teams are conglomerates of previous teams.
Exactly, yeah. So Express beat the Spartans 46-14. Then the Storm played the Expendables, two veteran teams, and the Storm won 34-28. And then the last game of Week 1 was SETX Elite versus the Herd, and the Herd got the win 18-15. And that's Week 1.
All right. Week 2 was on October 6, 2019. In the first game, Exclusive took on 409 Boys. Exclusive fell to the 409 Boys 8-33. In the second game, the Showstoppers beat the Spartans 58-0. Storm won against the squad in the 12 o'clock game, and the Jack Boys beat Expendables 52-20. Express lost to the Herd 35-23. And the Clydesdales got their first victory against SETX Elite 26-17, and that was Week 2.
All right, Week 3 was on October 13th. First game was the Herd against the Spartans, and the Herd won 46-0. Next game was the Squad against the Jack Boys, and the Jack Boys won 58-20. Express versus Clydesdales, and Express won 28-12. 409 Boys against the Showstoppers, and 409 Boys got the win 20-14. That was a really good game. Expendables against SETX Elite, and Expendables won 47-12. And then Exclusive versus Storm, and the Storm got the win 38-6.
All right, now, which leads us to Week 4, which was on October 20th. First game, Exclusive won against the Spartans 63-0.
Wow.
Jack Boys lost to the Showstoppers 39-38 in a really good game. Controversial ending to that game.
Oh, really was it?
In the 12 o'clock game, Express took on 409 Boys. 409 Boys won 33-19. And in the 1 p.m. game, Storm defeated Clydesdales 58-14. SETX Elite beat Squad 22-8. And the Expendables defeated the Herd in a very good football contest, 26-27.
And Week 5, the most recent week of SETX FFL 5.
The Redemption.
Clydesdales beat Exclusive 19-12. The Storm beat the Herd 48-20. Squad beat the Spartans 40-6. The Jack Boys beat the 409 Boys 42-27. The Expendables beat Express 28-19, and the Showstoppers beat SETX Elite 44-6.
And there you have it. That's what we've done so far for the 2019 season. And now let's talk a little bit more about the teams. So, of course, you have your bottom teams. We'll go 12-1. I'll tell you their standings, and I would like to mention as we go through these how some of these teams are made up, because to me it's a little bit interesting. Okay, the squad's been the same team forever. They're number 12 at 1-4, but they have a forfeit. So,
which puts them at the bottom right now.
Right. Spartans are at number 11 at 0-5. They are, I believe, a bunch of Marines, right?
It looks like they mostly Marines, yes.
Yeah, super nice guys. They never really played before, so that's why they're doing poorly. They actually have some good athletes, but they're brand new to the sport.
They're trying very hard. They're playing hard. They're very nice guys. Just haven't put a good game together yet.
Now, SETX Elite is made up of a lot of guys who played before. It's a lot of the guys who used to play for the Punishers. Sorry, my mouth now auto-corrects that. But there's a lot of Punishers guys on that team. Aaron Ward helps team captain it with Gary Joseph, and they're sort of figuring out who they are. They really, really, really need a quarterback.
Yes.
So that's why they're 1-4. Also, they're just going to have to figure out a way to get along. At number 9, you have Exclusive. I think Exclusive were a lot of the people from Team New Balance, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, so that's a lot of Team New Balance guys. Number 8 is the Clydesdales.
Well, that's where the playoff line is. Those four teams from 12-9 are outside of the playoffs as of right now, as of Week 5.
Correct. So here are the playoff teams as you see it at Week 5, and everybody's still got a chance to make the playoffs.
Yes.
Number 8 is Clydesdales. They're at 2-3 with 160 points scored against them. That is a redo of the Hitmen from times past. So there's a bunch of Hitmen people on that team, and they also desperately need a quarterback. Number 7.
I think they're going to be a pretty good team. I mean, that's a good team. With a quarterback, they're going to be a really good team.
They have really good athletes, and they know how to play flag football.
And pretty good-looking uniforms, too, if I might say.
Great heads of hair.
All of them. John Landry, the best head of hair.
John Landry has the best head of hair in all of flag football. At number 7 is Express. Express is Marvin Williams' team. Tootie, Ricky Jackson is playing quarterback. Any given day, they could beat probably anyone because they all know how to play football. They're just a little older, kind of like the Herd is. But I think, they don't have a bad team, really.
Yeah.
And number 6 is the Herd at 3-2 with 113 points scored against.
Which is that's actually pretty good. That's actually the fourth lowest in the league, so I'm actually impressed with that.
Deceiving, though.
We didn't just give up 48 points in the last game. So.
Our defense is not very good. We're getting pretty long in the tooth. When people get to the outside now, we can't get there sometimes, and you can just tell age is becoming a factor.
Yes.
Number 5 is the Expendables. I think the Expendables are. I think these next 5 teams are the only teams that really have a legitimate chance to win the championship, in my opinion. With the exception of something crazy happening.
Yeah.
I think the Expendables have a chance. If Trey Green continues to play quarterback for them and shows up every week, he's really, really good at playing quarterback.
When he's at quarterback, they can beat everybody. When he's not at quarterback, I don't think they can beat anybody.
I don't think they can beat a playoff team.
Yeah.
Certainly. But he is a big difference maker. Their defense is good. They fly to the ball. They're fast guys. They're long. They're ball hawks. They go for the ball. So I think they're looking pretty good. The Jack Boys at number 4, which is surprising, but they're a good team. I
don't think they worry about where their where they're positioned in the playoffs.
No, they look good. They lost to the Showstoppers on a, like we said, controversial last call. But to me, they're probably the best team in the league still.
Yeah, they're fourth because there's 3 teams at 4-1, and they just happen to be
with points
because of the way teams have beat each other in points. Yeah, so that's why they're at fourth. So not like they're basically second, tied for second because of record.
So at number 3 at 4-1, it's 4-9 boys. They look good. JC's playing good quarterback. They run a good defense. Byron is important. They're looking fine. Daniel Limbrick is always good.
Yeah.
Number 2, the Showstoppers. Diltz has made an appearance a few times this year.
I don't know how they're number 2.
They defeated the that's right. They defeated the Jack Boys, which was an upset in my eyes. And they only have 70 points scored against them. So that's pretty good.
Yeah.
No matter who you play.
Exactly.
And number 1 right now at 5-0 is the Storm. That's like the Golden State Warriors right now of SETX FFL. Bunch of different athletes from a bunch of different teams going to make one team that's pretty good.
Yeah.
And Chase Boudreaux's playing well. They have a lot of guys that will go get the ball. They have some tall people that are very athletic and will go up and kind of out-muscle people for the ball, and they're very enthusiastic.
Yeah, and this is why I think we could talk about the best teams in the league right now. And the Storm, to me, are the best team in the league right now. They got their quarterback. They brought Chase Boudreaux back, and he brought 2 great players from the Showstoppers, 2 great players from
they have Aaron Garrett.
Yeah, I mean, Blanton, Kraft. I mean, just a bunch of guys they've picked up that are. So I don't think the Storm is they're basically like maybe 2 guys from the original Storm team that are still there. So this is a pretty almost like an all-star type team, and that's why they're only giving up 68 points. They're 5-0. They're the best team in the league right now because of those additions and because of how they play together.
Looking forward, let's see, this week the Storm play 4-9 boys. That's a test. And they play the Showstoppers, another test.
Then the Express.
Express could beat anybody.
The Jack Boys.
And then the Jack Boys.
Wow, they've got it pretty tough here the next 4 weeks. So,
the Storm they're about to get into the meat of their schedule.
Yeah, so they've been looking. Maybe they've looked so good because their schedule has been pretty light up to this point. So
yeah, and it'll be interesting to see what they end up with. I mean, like the Jack Boys have the Herd, the Spartans, SETX Elite.
Oh Lord.
And the Storm at the end of the year.
So their schedule's light until the last part of the week.
Sure, and they
season. But I never count them out. I always consider them a top flight team, no matter what.
Showstoppers have Squad, Storm, let's see, Expendables, and the Herd. Their schedule's a little bit tougher than the Jack Boys is because, to me, the Expendables can beat anybody on any day.
Yeah.
Depending on who we have, we can compete with them.
They've got it a little tougher, but I still think they've got when Jake's there, they've got an advantage over anybody.
When Jake's there, I think they'll beat anybody.
Yeah.
When he's not there, it's a toss-up.
Yeah.
Now 4-9 boys have the Storm, the Herd, Spartans,
and then SETX Elite.
Yeah, so theirs is pretty easy too.
Yeah, they've got one tough one there, and the rest of them are.
I think 4-9 boys will beat the Storm this week. It's my prediction.
I can see that. It would not surprise me at all.
I don't think it's because they're necessarily better than them. I just think they've been a team together longer, and they can get through different situations. So my prediction is 4-9 boys beat the Storm this week, and then the next week the Showstoppers play the Storm, and I honestly think the Storm wins that game. I don't think the Storm will beat the Jack Boys, and those are pretty much all the interesting games.
Yeah, I mean, it comes down to just a few games here and there. But I mean, with a 9-week schedule and 12 teams, you don't get to play everybody. So you've got to, when you do get those big games, you've got to win them.
I'll be interested to see Showstoppers Expendables in Week 8. And yeah, I think those are the games I actually care to see. Other than that, these games are terrible. I'm just joking. But no, you never know what will happen. I mean, a couple of years ago, there was a team called the Trill Black Panthers that were like a number 8 seed or something.
Snuck up and
they
beat
won.
everybody in
And
one
they,
thing.
everybody I think had beat them that was going in the playoffs.
And then they disbanded immediately.
Immediately thereafter, they were done. There was a flash in the pan.
Yep.
But you just never know what will happen, and that is how the league is shaking out thus far. So any further comments on how SETX FFL 5, the redemption, is going?
I think this has been pretty fun so far, and halfway through, and it's getting down to playoff time. I mean, I still think every team has a chance, but also every week is a chance to knock yourself out too. So you've got to step up.
Yes, you need to step up and step out. Turn off.
Step on it.
What did Timothy Leary say? Was it Timothy Leary?
I don't know.
That professor that wanted people to do LSD? Whatever. I don't know. I wasn't paying attention because I don't do LSD.
Zip it up and zip it out.
Yeah. All right, we'll stick around for another segment there in a minute. We'll talk about something. All right, welcome back.
Welcome back.
Troy and I are a bit out of practice with this whole podcast, I think.
We did not come prepared at all.
No, but I think I have a good segment for you, and if you don't like it, you can go to hell. So, here's the segment.
Troy didn't say that.
No, I did. I'm going to call this Potpourri because. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give Troy a topic, and I want to hear his immediate and emotional thoughts about it. No logic is allowed, only emotional, hopefully incorrect. But what I really want are controversial thoughts.
So you usually need somebody that's emotional then. You need someone that has emotion. I am the least emotional person you know.
I watched you be applauded off a field last week because I don't even know what was I can't even label the emotion
I can't either.
that you were experiencing.
I don't really remember what all was being said.
You were smiling, but it wasn't.
I wasn't
happy. It was. I don't like I said. I'm pretty good at reading people. I don't know what you were thinking or feeling.
Really don't either.
I was like,
there were some guys I was actually saying good job because they actually played really well. I was like, good job, but they were by that point they were just it was all.
Because in my repertoire, all I have is like happiness, sadness, confusion, despair, elation. I don't know what you were doing.
It was after talking to someone that made no sense, and then I was just like, what is going on?
Can you label the emotion in one word?
Sassafras.
That's what you say?
Sassafras. It's
All
like
right.
Yosemite Sam.
All right. Can you use sassafras in a sentence?
Yosemite Sam did. Sassafras.
Okay. All right. Here's the first topic. You have, in less than 30 seconds, give me what your thoughts are. Now, when people listen to this, they're already going to know what happened. So, thoughts are on the Game 7 baseball game occurring tonight.
Astros are going to win 4-3.
4-3. Okay, will Joe Buck mention the age of Juan Soto?
Of course.
Will Joe Buck mention the age of Juan Soto? I just wanted to ask this number of times that he'll mention the age of Juan Soto.
Yes. What is he, 22? Is he 20?
I think he's
21?
20. I don't think
21?
he's turned 21 yet.
Okay.
But I'm not sure. Okay, so give me something to say words about.
What are your thoughts on...
I can't really speak on that.
The computers are back up.
Well, go ahead. Order your food.
All right.
Yeah.
Look what it did. That was weird.
Yeah. Redo mine.
What are your thoughts when Emmitt Smith broke his neck on that one play?
Well, backstory. Troy and I were discussing Emmitt Smith earlier because I brought it up and he didn't care. And I remember this play where Emmitt Smith broke his neck because he was jumping over a pile. And if I can remember correctly, it was this game where it was out of reach. Dallas couldn't win, really. But they really wanted to score a touchdown because back in my day, people played to the whistle. And he broke his neck, and then I was sad as a child. And I still have emotional problems because of that. Thank you.
You know, the only Emmett Smith I knew before Emmett Smith was Doc Emmett Brown from Back to the Future.
I've never seen Back to the Future.
Well, all right,
there you
then.
go. All right.
What are your thoughts on Back to the Future?
Well, it seemed like a movie. All right, here you go. Here's your next one. You ready?
Yes.
Your thoughts on people between the ages of 15 and 23.
Some of them are teenagers, and some of them have just become adults.
But what do you think of young people? We're not young
They have
people anymore.
qualities.
Do you like their qualities?
Sometimes.
Are there any differences between young people of today and young people of yesteryear?
Well, that's what everyone's going to say, but I assume everyone's just the same and just with different technology.
You don't dislike their hairstyles or piercings or their apps?
You kids and all your apps and your
Yeah.
complicated shoes.
You can't just eat the entree. You have some apps. All right, give me one.
Thoughts on the best teams in the NFL right now? Who are the best teams in the NFL right now?
Oh, the best teams in the NFL right now are, to me, I'll go say 4-1. Number 4, I would put. Oh man, that's kind of hard. Green Bay, I'll go with number 4. I think Aaron Rodgers looks pretty friggin' good. I'm trying not to do exactly what Colin Cowherd did today for the exact same topic. I don't know that I can do them in an order, but San Francisco's in my top 4. They look really, really good. I like that they run the ball a lot. Of course, New England's up there. And I'll go with Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati has a good chance to have a really good pick in the draft. Most people don't know this, but they're the best team in the NFL. They're just tanking this year.
Yeah.
And to get a good pick in the draft, it's certainly not that they're just not very good.
It's possible that the Bengals and the Dolphins can play in Week 15, and they'll both be 0-14 at that time.
Did you see, speaking of the NFL, did you see the picture of OBJ giving Tom Brady the goat cleats?
Yeah.
And Baker Mayfield looking over his shoulder?
Yeah.
Well, all right then. Thought you loved me.
Yeah.
There's a meme that had said that and said, why don't you just go marry Tom Brady if you like him so much?
That's the thing. When you're in the presence of Tom Brady, everyone else is insignificant.
Yeah. All right. Your topic, Troy, is best college football team right now.
Best college football team, Alabama or Ohio State. One of those two.
If they played a baseball game, who would win? The football teams
If the football teams played a baseball game,
yeah,
Ohio State.
Ohio State would beat. Why? I want to know strategies and who would pitch.
I think
Give me these college
they
players
play
that
more
nobody
baseball
knows.
in the Midwest and Ohio like that. I think there are more baseball players on that team.
Whatever.
Alabama doesn't seem like they have a bunch of baseball players.
Oh, okay.
Their quarterback's from Hawaii. Do you think he plays any baseball in Hawaii?
What's his last name?
Tagovailoa?
Yep. All right, give me one more.
All right. What do you think are the best narrative techniques for writing a good story?
The best narrative techniques for writing a good story is to first have a good inspiration. What you want from your inspiration is to have a person who can be seen by some as an underdog and others. Thank you.
Fantastic. That was awesome. That was quick. Thank you.
So the best techniques for writing a good narrative for a story are first you want to have a good inspiration for your characters. Now, to me, nothing says better inspiration for a character than someone who suffers from rampant perspiration and big female titties on a man. Now, you want to start with that. That can be your inspiration first. You want to have this person completely unlikable, so unlikable that basically you can have some feller like, I don't know, Walt, score on him and have to spin a ball in the end zone just to prove a point. You want a guy like that to start your narrative. Now, once you know who you're writing about and what you're doing, everything else just falls in place. But first you have to have that one inspiration. And I'll be damned if someone that has It's a man with lady titties and a stinky underarm and a bunch of bullshit phrases. It's not good inspiration for a character.
Yes.
Now, after that, it all just flows. And at some point, there's dragons. Yeah. Anything else?
That was good. The worst, when I'll try to take it back to a serious point, the worst thing that you can do, at least for in my mind, is have an ending already for a story. Don't have an ending.
Yeah.
Because I had an ending for a story I can never finish. I can never start it now because I have the ending, so I can't write it.
So that's your struggle with the writing.
I have characters, and they're too likable, I think. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Also, and I have the ending I want, but I cannot start the narrative.
Well,
I can't start it.
That brings me to something that I actually think is worth talking about, and it's that, as much as I love talking about the good things from the Flag Football League and everything that we do, it really would be less fun without villains. And plus, my villain might be somebody else's hero. I obviously don't wish anybody any ill will. That I talk about, it's all for fun. But I'm glad we have people out there that make it a little spicy, that even make it a little salty. It makes it a lot more fun to have some controversy, have some rivalry. So as much as I talk trash on you guys, I kind of appreciate you, and it's kind of fun to me.
Yeah, it's fun to know that there's somebody, and I know from my experience that I am one of those guys that everybody wants to beat because I just like to talk. But it makes it fun because I know everybody's trying to stop me. That means I have to play really well. So, and I know when there are people that I'm up against that I know, or somebody that's going to, if they make a play, they're going to talk crap on us. I want to try to stop them. So it makes it fun. It gives you a goal besides just playing and winning a game. You want to try to stop certain people.
And to be honest, without the personality, this would be kind of boring.
I guess, yeah.
If you subtract all the personality from sports, it gets rather boring. We were just talking about before we started doing this podcast today, baseball players carrying the bat down to first base, and people hating Joe Buck, and all this. Wouldn't it be boring if you had a machine talking instead of Joe Buck? Wouldn't it be boring if nobody ever carried a bat down to the first base, nobody threw at somebody's head or whatever?
Let's do it. You actually brought this up. Why do people hate Joe Buck? Let's do it. Let's talk about it.
Okay, why do people hate Joe Buck? Why do you hate Joe Buck?
I don't. That's what I'm saying. When I'm watching the game, I'm just kind of watching the game. I just kind of zone out and don't really listen to what they're saying.
Well, I welcome all of your comments now. If you will comment of why you hate Joe Buck, I'd really appreciate it, because I don't get it. So the best I can do is that, first of all, for people who know who Joe Buck is, his dad's name was Jack Buck, and he was a famous
very
announcer.
Popular announcer in St. Louis Cardinals.
So basically, he's a second generation of something his family did, and his dad was really good at it. I think that leads to a lot of hate and almost anything, and resentment.
Yeah.
So it feels like you didn't really earn it like you should have.
He just got the job, yeah.
Secondly, I think he's a good-looking guy.
I don't ever see him.
Who's on TV. They show him on TV. You're focused too much on the baseball games. I'm looking at the men.
Oh, okay.
But, he's a good-looking guy. He's got a good voice. He is actually, I think, what's even worse than being a second-generation something where the first generation was great is being a second-generation something and you're actually good at what you do.
Yeah.
I think that really frustrates people.
I think it is that he does everything. He doesn't stick to one sport. He does all these sports. And there's people God, he's doing this too. And everybody thinks he's against their team. He never says anything positive for my team. He's always saying negative stuff.
Right.
I just don't get it. I really don't. I do notice, now I will say, I do notice when he says the same thing every other inning about this guy's this age, or boy, this guy, he's been throwing this pitch like I'll hear him say the same things over and over again. That does get kind of annoying.
Well, is it not possible, though, that he understands things a little better than we do, that he knows that your casual baseball fan probably doesn't watch the entire game, probably drops in on 2 or 3 innings, and he sees where things spike a little bit, knows what sounds good, so he repeats them, kind of like a radio show,
Well, he also, you've got all this time to fill. A baseball game, you can't just talk about baseball because most of the time there's nothing going, it's just standing around. There's not a lot going on, so you have to fill a lot of time. I understand that. He also has a producer in his ear telling him, make sure you get this in, fit this in, talk about this. So it's not just him talking about baseball. He's got stuff to fit in. So I understand. It's hard to do. That's why I don't really hate. I don't hate Joe Buck. I think the announcers do their job. Some of them are worse than others. Some of them don't know the people's names, and that's kind of annoying. But
my favorite
I think
thing.
he does a good job.
My favorite thing that baseball, football, any sport does with the people that are calling the games is when they explain the game a little bit better to so I know what's happening.
Yeah.
Like in that baseball game last night, which when you guys are hearing this, it won't be last night.
Game
so it'll
six.
be
The game
six. When the guy's glove got hit by the guy running down I'm not a baseball fan. I'm a casual baseball watcher.
Yeah.
During the World Series when a specific team is playing in the World Series. So I'm by far not a baseball fan.
Cody has watched 2 World Series.
That's right. But I was pretty happy that they had I think an umpire or someone come on and explain that to me. I was like, man, that's handy. I'm glad I know that now.
Yeah.
Like in a football game, my favorite parts of someone who actually speaks instead of the announcers is when they bring on Gene Scarator or whatever head referee, and they really get into why calls are made. I like that.
But then they make the call different. Whenever he talks about it should be this way, and then on the field they end up calling it the other way.
And that might be true, but I'm just saying, to me that's the most valuable thing they do is when I get to learn stuff about the sport I like or the sport I don't care about. In basketball, I'm really not interested in anything they say until it's something I don't really know. And Joe Buck, so I guess for a fan, Joe Buck really never tells you anything you don't know.
Because he's not the analysis. He's just the play-by-play guy. John Smoltz is the analysis. He tells you the inner workings of the game, why they did this, why it looked like it. He's the guy he's the Hall of Fame pitcher. He tells you what's going on. Joe Buck just says, fly ball, caught. He just tells you what's going on.
And maybe it's that Joe Buck spends too much time talking about stuff besides play-by-play
but
stuff.
He's got a lot of time to fill.
And so maybe Joe Buck is being punished because he actually has a personality that he just can't restrain enough.
Yeah. I think sometimes he does cheer a little more for certain team than others. Not that he's cheering for them, but he's louder for one team than another.
Yeah.
And makes people think, well, why is he cheering? He should be, he should be just calling it right down the middle.
But
people, because people want their guy. They want all their guy to be talked about. They just want their team to be talked about. That's how everybody is.
And at the end of the day, though, if he were saying really good things about people's favorite team, they'd like him.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't. People hated on John Madden. They hated on. I don't know if anybody hated on Pat Summerall. Maybe he's like the best play-by-play guy ever. He's like the best play-by-play ever.
Yeah.
So I guess you could be like Pat Summerall, but we don't live in a Pat Summerall age. There's too much other stuff. I think people will find him boring now.
Yeah, I know a lot of people don't like Chris Collinsworth, and I do find him he kind of makes it about him, it seems like.
Yeah.
And I feel like that. So I notice if I'm watching Sunday Night Football, I'll turn it down sometimes because I like Al Michaels, but I do not care for Chris Collinsworth for some reason.
But the thing is, we notice a lot of these things, but man, when Jason Witten was on there, you noticed how terrible he was.
Yeah, well, he hardly said anything most of the time, but when he did say something, it was head-scratching.
It's easy to be terrible in that.
Yeah.
And honestly, I don't think these guys are as bad as people make them out to be.
Yeah. Well, you put Jason Witten, a guy who had no practice at all. He's never done it before. You went straight from the field to the booth with no practice. I guess Romo did too, but Romo has that ability to talk and can project. Witten I never even knew he had a voice before that. I never heard him talk.
Who would?
Yeah.
But like ESPN's got Booger McFarland, or what are these people's names are? But I think it's a little bit underappreciated because that's a 4-hour event.
Yeah.
Where you basically got to talk the entire time.
It's hard to do.
Through unexpected commercial stuff, and there's just not enough really interesting stats to fill up every minute of every down of every football game or every at-bat for a baseball game. So I sort of appreciate Joe Buck, even though I know that's not popular.
In 20 years, I want to hear Kawhi Leonard calling an NBA Finals.
In 20 years, Kawhi Leonard Kawhi Leonard may have said his last words, and he'll still live 30 more years.
Could you imagine the ratings of that final? It'd be like this. Yeah.
It'll be like on a Major League. I think it was Major League 2. It's like Ball hit. Caught. That's what Kawhi's going to do. She's like,
that would make it more interesting. That really
shot in.
Good.
2-0. Yep.
I like it.
All right. Well, that was a good
We
topic.
need announcers for our games.
You want to do announcers for our games?
Well, I still think we need to do a.
You just waved your hand at me.
We need to go back to the first week of SETX FFL and do a
You just want to do
watch along.
Okay.
And just to talk about all the, because that's 5 years ago, man.
Yeah, that's 5 years ago. I had hair. I'm completely bald now.
I was not fat.
Yeah. All right. That's all I got for today. I don't have anything else.
That was good.
All right. Merry Christmas. We'll be back on in maybe next week or something.
Good luck.
Bye.
BDSM. D.